Good evening. So, how many of you could hardly contain yourself today, knowing, what is the mistress of misery going to talk about today? And I had to wear my earrings again since they didn't fall off my lobes last night. They are stunning. Heavy, but stunning. Let me put my little light on. I don't think it makes a difference, but, ooh, hello. Anyway, I have to tell you that this story, I'm going to read chapter 14. I don't know one person who has gone, I love that, the mistress of misery. I don't know one person who's gone through a long-term or a serious illness or some other catastrophic type of thing who hasn't felt this way. So I won't tell you any more until I tell you two other things. Hi Lisa, my website, my webmaster ran into a glitch. So the last two chapters of my book, Committed to Love, 23 and 24, have not yet been loaded onto my website under the books page, or Susan Reed's Committed to Love, or on my YouTube channel. We ran into some kind of a glitch, but she'll take care of it. So you have plenty of reading material to go from April 3rd, chapter 1, all the way up to chapter 22. You won't, we'll get it fixed by the time you've completed that saga. And then if it isn't still yet, you got this book you'll be able to deal with. So that's one, is that chapters 23 and 24 are not available yet to read for those who have no intention of purchasing my book and want to just read my stories, though they're on Facebook. But for those of you who want to go to my website and check it out, where it says Susan Reed's Committed to Love under the books icon, just 2 chapters are missing. But there's plenty else there for you. And the other thing is on, it says there for several of you who have gone to my website and seen where it says HIV and oral health. There's always glitches with the internet. There's glitches with your website. There's always a glitch. It had been on there. This interview had been on there the whole time. And today I looked, and for whatever reason, the interview with the Palm Beach County Health Department, the dental department, parts 1 and 2 are there, are the oral health that I speak about. But the exact interview that I've done with the partnering with the Palm Beach County Health Dental Department is not there, and that too will be put back for whatever reason. The page was not there. And the reason I bring that up is it's about time. I have not told any of you, or hardly any of you, some of you know me, that the Lord put in my heart several years ago to purchase battery-operated toothbrushes or spin brushes for HIV dental patients at the Palm Beach County Health Department. And it's a blessing to be able to have the resources to do it. And so that's what I do. I have a dear friend, Rob Scott, who's with the health department up there. We put the paperwork through several years ago, and I met with Dr. William Scott Staten, the head of the dental department, and the dental hygienist there. This is for HIV positive dental patients. There's a separate one. There's the dental department, then there's a special department for those that are HIV positive. And so we put all the paperwork through, and it went through. So my dear friend Rob Scott met with the hygienist, and the hygienist tells him when the shit getting low, and then he'll purchase another 50. I write him a check. I'm good at that. I write checks, and he buys another 30 or 40 or 50. So let's just say over the past several years, I have spent several $1,000s, no problem, haven't asked anybody for money. And I also have purchased hundreds of spin brushes or battery-operated toothbrushes for people. Now, my issue is that I've gone to several large dental groups. I've reached out to oral health care providers, the big companies that make some of these big brand names. The paperwork and the hoops you have to jump through, I won't do it. God wants me to meet somebody who will help match me on what I'm doing and take this further than Palm Beach County, it'll happen. I'm not going to jump through hoops. I'm not going to fill out tons of paperwork for some company. Then it has to go to this person and then that person. No. I am buying battery operated out of my own money. I am buying battery operated toothbrushes for HIV positive dental patients at the Palm Beach County Dental Department. And I know that I'm supposed to do it. Would I love someone to come along who would like to partner with me and help me? We could take this mission and ministry throughout the state of Florida to everybody that has a health department, a dental department. We could take it through the whole country, that every HIV positive patient who goes through a dental clinic, a dental department that's certified and accredited, and if they can't get whatever it is, that when they get their teeth cleaned, the first time they get their teeth cleaned, they get a battery operated toothbrush. Would I love to see them get oral picks? Yes. Electric toothbrushes? Yes. I'd like to see them get the best oral care, and it's extremely important because when you have HIV, you can get periodontal disease, you get bacterial morbility. You just have to have extremely good oral health. I was a dental hygienist for 20 years. When Jeffrey took ill toward the end, I had to brush his teeth and take care of him. I know that oral health, my slogan is total health begins with oral health. And the article from the Palm Beach County Health Department, as I say, is not up there, but the 2 interviews are, where I talk about what I'm doing. But I am buying those, and it's a blessing to purchase battery-operated toothbrushes for HIV-positive dental patients at the Palm Beach County Health Department. And if somebody could come along with a big dental group or a company and want to do this with me, it would be absolutely incredible to take this ministry everywhere. And God showed me going up the state of Florida, up the top of our country, down California, down through the Gulf states, and then filling in through the body. He didn't show me going down. He showed me specifically going up Florida, but it has to be to dental departments, and I want it to be through health departments. I want it to be properly done. No ifs, ands, or buts. This is not going to be just, oh, there's these extra toothbrushes lying around, let's just give them away. No. When you come in for your cleaning the first time, this is how we say thank you. And eventually, when I do have the resources, you bet I'm going to be able to purchase the best oral care for people because I know what it's like. So anyway, it's been going on for a few years, but the interview's down and we got to get it back up. So those are the 2 disclaimers. My last 2 chapters aren't up of my book, and the interview's gone. But I'm here. That sounds great, but so far insurance does not cover all your dental. I'm not dealing with that, David. I'm just buying battery-operated toothbrushes for HIV-positive dental patients. I've bought hundreds upon hundreds at the end of the year. I get a statement that says, thank you, Susan Mintz, for your contribution of $250 or $300, and it's itemized. Yes, some dental patients don't have insurance. Some people can't get it. You have to apply for everything. It's very rough. But a little battery-operated toothbrushes is something that a big dental group could go in with. Somebody could definitely partner with me, and this could go all over the state of Florida. Just something simple, like a little battery-operated toothbrush that says, we care, from the dental hygienist who cleans their teeth. Very simple. If God could give me that ministry, someone else can take it with me. But until that happens, I shall purchase them and be very happy. So this chapter is that a daughter, chapter 14, a daughter questions her fears as she faces the issue. Is she more afraid to leave her loved one or to come back? Boy, I face that one a lot. Let me put this on. Yes, I know insurance does not cover all dental. I know that. I'm talking about private sector ministry. I'm talking about the private sector coming in and purchasing simple things that could aid to the oral benefit of HIV-positive dental patients. Boy, I know the system, and it stinks if you don't have connections and know how to do it. But for now, this is what I do. This is what I want to do. And as soon as the order comes in to buy more, I write that check, I buy more, and that's just how it is. So let me focus here. Chapter 14, and I held her hands with a hospice heart. A daughter questions her fears as she faces the issue. Is she more afraid to leave her loved one or to come back? A lot of you have had that fear. So it says here, fear gripped me, quote, fear gripped me every time I said hello or goodbye. That's truth. July 1999. Hi, David. Dear Jeff. We're getting through this. Dear Jeff, July 1999. Fear gripped me every time I said hello or goodbye, and a daughter I met questioned the same thing. Let me put my glasses on so I can see. Well, a little bit of the story will be the beginning of me, and a little bit will be at the end, as they all are. Here, dear Jeff, why did you have to get sick and die during the summer? It was always our favorite season. We had our most wonderful times taking long, leisurely walks on the beach, riding around in our convertible, eating late dinners on warm, balmy nights, and lying for hours in the sun as we tried to outdo each other, getting magnificent tans. We enjoyed bicycle riding, swimming, and holding each other while dancing under starlit skies. When you were diagnosed with AIDS in June 1992, and after you died in August 1994, all that I had left was a sickening, empty feeling in the pit of my stomach. I never thought that I would ever enjoy a summer again without you to share it with. It took me a year to build up enough courage to go to the beach. When I finally did, I had to have a friend go with me. I cried hysterically as I walked that 2-mile stretch in Deerfield Beach because I was not walking it with you. Yeah. I also never thought that I would ever feel comfortable again in our home. For months I slept on a couch in the den because I couldn't bear to be alone in our bed. Boy, are you relating to this, or I wouldn't be hitting the hundreds on views. You are relating. That's what this book's more about. But you're still going to get chapters read to you in full on my book because they're pertinent now that you've heard these stories. But I could here. For months I slept on a couch in the den because I couldn't bear being alone in our bed as I walked through rooms displaying the beautiful treasures and souvenirs of our life together. I was haunted by the images of your death. In a home that once knew intimacy and love, laughter and joy, I felt cold and alone, unfamiliar and strange. For 2 years, the disease made me afraid of everything. I was unprepared for what might happen when I was away from you, and I never knew what to expect when I came back. Whether you were in the hospital or at home, the fear of what might be when I either came and said hello or goodbye to you gripped me to the core. My thoughts were so frightening that I would freeze before I walked into the room. My heart would race and I would break into a cold sweat, anxious and fearful of what I might have to face. It took every bit of my strength for me to smile and say, "Hi, baby, I'm back." I might have left you for 30 minutes, but it was enough time for a crisis to develop. What if your condition got worse? What if you spiked another high fever or started to convulse? What if you had thrown up, soiled yourself, or fallen? Would you be too weak or able to get up? And my greatest fear remained in thought of you dying and that I would not be there for you. I was afraid for myself and I was afraid for you. Here we get into the story. Last night at the care center, I met a woman who was dealing with the same issue. She was afraid to leave her loved one and even more afraid to return. Many of you are relating, and it doesn't have to even be a long-term illness. You're afraid when someone you know is really ill. She made me think about the many times when I faced face this kind of terror and apprehension. As she spoke, her words brought back the memories when I said, "So long for a little while," and didn't know what would await me when I returned. As I walked down the hallway, the music coming from the room was magnificent. I heard a solo piano concerto, so brilliantly and passionately played that I thought someone was performing it in person. As I stood, oh, I see this now too. I see this one. As I stood outside the door listening to the piano's beautiful sounds, she was standing near the bed. I watched her slowly lean over and kiss the woman on the lips. I entered the room and I heard her say, "I love you, Mom. I love you, Mom." Some of you are going to need tissues big time. Uh, that's not in the book, that's me telling you. I approached the girl and said, "Hello." I don't know why. Hello. "My name is Susan and I'm a volunteer." The beautiful music charmed me into the room. "Would you like to be alone with your mother? Would you mind if I was sitting here?" "Oh no," she said. "Mom always likes having people around. My sister is a concert pianist. She is the one playing on the tape. She loved to play for my mother. Since she can't be here with us now, she thought that Mom would like this." I've been told that since the sense of hearing is the last one the person loses, hopefully my mother can still hear my words and my sister's music. I said, "You adore your mother, don't you?" She held her mother's hands and said, "Yes, I adore her. She is everything, and she is my best friend." Her story continues. Remember, I just meet these people for the first time. Might be for an hour or two, but this is one of the few times in my life I'm a really good listener. My father died 15 years ago, and Mom moved to Florida. I lived in New York, and after my divorce, I wanted to live closer to Mom. We were only 10 minutes from each other. It was like growing up all over again. Several times a week, we ate dinner together, went to the movies, shopped, and traveled. When Mom developed liver cancer 3 years ago, I moved into her home. This is the final chapter in our beautiful book of love. The naturalness of the daughter's unconditional love overflowed as she gently and tenderly continued to caress the frail woman's arms and stroke her forehead. The daughter had now assumed the role of the mother, and she was the one soothing and comforting the child. She glanced at her watch and said, "I have to be going now. I am so tired, and I need to get up early to go to work. I've taken a lot of time off recently. Saying goodbye is the hardest thing for me to do. I'm afraid and feel panicked when I have to leave, but I can't stay with her all the time." She continued to kiss her mother, telling her how much she loved her. She fought back her tears, knowing that she would have to say goodbye. My heart ached for her because I remembered how many times I had said the same goodbyes to you, Jeff, when you were ill. I asked her if I could walk her to her car. "Yes," she said, "that would be nice." When we got to her car, I said, "May I ask you something personal? It's a question that I've never asked anyone before. However, I think that you might be feeling the same way I felt when my husband was ill." "Of course," she said, and I explained. "My husband passed away 5 years ago after a long illness. For 2 years, he was in and out of the hospital several times. Hospice came into our home and assisted me with his care during the last 2 months. My question is, do you think that it is more difficult for you to leave your mother at the center now, or is it harder for you to come back and see her?" Her immediate response told me that she understood exactly what I meant, and so many of you do too. And you're sharing with your family and friends because you know they've been through it. She said, I am miserable and brokenhearted when I have to leave. It is torture not to be with her every moment of the day and night. I feel that I should be with her all the time. The guilt and anguish I go through when I have to leave is horrible. I am afraid that she will die while I am gone. Even during the early stages of her illness, I hated to leave her. Our time together was so special. But I am also afraid to return because I don't know what I will see when I walk into the room. There were times when I would leave for just a few hours and something would happen. She might be upset or her condition would change. My heart would pound and I'd hold my breath when I saw her again. I hated to leave and when I was afraid to come back. I never knew I could feel like this. Both feelings have torn me apart. I said I felt the same way throughout my husband's illness, especially during the last few months. There were times when I needed to leave him for a few hours, and when I'd walk through the door, I was afraid to go into the room. I could leave him feeling comfortable and everything was stable. Then I'd return, and a crisis had developed, or something unforeseen and unexpected had happened. I never knew what to expect, and it was frightening. Even when people were taking care of him, I hated to leave, and I dreaded coming back. How would he look? How would he feel? What if he needed me and I wasn't there? Would he be afraid or feel alone? And what if I wasn't there when he died? It was difficult for me to put my trust in other people with his care. That was a very difficult thing for me to do and to learn to do. I was his wife, his best friend, and his caregiver. I wanted to be with him all the time. And she said, it helps knowing that someone else feels the same way that I do, the same way that I do. It helps. You are not the only one. If you think your feelings going through something that you're the only one, you are not. Not that you're not special, not that your situation isn't different, but you are going to go through the same thing that tens of thousands of people around the world will or have gone through. Feelings are feelings. Emotions are emotions. They don't change. The circumstances change. The situations change. Life changes. But what you're born with, feelings, emotions, passion, love, anger, denial, feelings, everybody has them. Not everybody uses them. Or do they come out at the same time for the right reasons? Let me continue. I do digress, but those are the little extras you get with purchase. Of course, nobody's purchasing anything, but I'm giving you these bonuses. She said, it helps knowing that someone feels the same way that I do. Loving someone who is gravely ill is unbearably sad for everyone. I understand that it is important to share this time with people who can help, but that doesn't make it any easier emotionally. I said, you helped me a lot by sharing your feelings. You are a wonderful daughter. Please tell your sister that her beautiful music made everyone feel better. Good night. On the way home, all I could think about was what this woman had said to me. Meeting her helped me to understand why I felt the emotional conflict that had troubled me for so long. I never knew that my feelings of guilt, fear, anticipation, and sorrow were not only natural, but also expected during such a difficult time. The woman and I felt these emotions because we loved deeply and passionately about someone, and we didn't want to have to say our final goodbye. We were torn apart and frightened because we loved and we felt helpless in stopping something that we didn't want ever to happen. Both situations caused great emotional conflict and sorrow, and neither one was easier than the other one to deal with. I think that the word, quote, secure, and, end quote, and insecure, quote, end quote, are best when someone you love is gravely ill, especially when the end is near. I say this because nothing ever seems stable, long-term, or certain during this time. How can you feel safe and secure when you don't know what to expect? It is a frightening feeling that never leaves. Whatever the feelings they were for the right reasons. We dealt with our fears because we needed to be there for our loved ones, and we needed to do it for ourselves. We would have continued to live through our fears as long as we had to. I know that I am grateful for the gift of time. Time. It has helped me to adjust to the reality of coming home alone, going to the beach by myself, and having dinner without you. It helped to heal my wounds and comfort my heart. Though I said goodbye to you with my words, I'll never say a final goodbye with my heart. I'll say so long for a little while. I love you, Susan. You know, what I was going to do previously, after this book, is I was going to write a book called Firsts, A Widow's Journey Through 4 Seasons. Because I did start to document all those firsts. I don't know why this is crooked. Give me something else to deal with today. It was going to be called Firsts, A Widow's Journey Through 4 Seasons. It's too late now, but I started writing it because all these firsts I had to go through. It was the first fall with, let's say, the Jewish holidays and the time change. Then it was winter with the cooler weather, even in Houston or in Boca, it was cooler for me, and the days were real short. And the holidays, again, the Christian holidays, were rough. And then it was springtime, so beautiful in the spring. Life springs eternal. Grass is growing, birds are chirping, butterflies are doing what they do, come out of their cocoons. And then there was summer, my most favorite month with him. The things we did all the summers. So that book I was going to write. Perhaps somebody out there will write a book as a widow, a new widow, or a new daughter, or a new mother. Someone who's lost someone and you want to document, you can have it. Firsts, A Woman's Journey Through 4 Seasons. I think it's great. It's just not in me, was it? Not to finish it. And then the other thing is I started looking back over the chapters in my personal book, Committed to Love. Because when I am done, we have 8 more chapters. I'll be on 15 tomorrow night in this book. This will also be uploaded onto my website and YouTube channel. But the other thing is that when I started going through the chapters in my book, yes, I was reading it in 2 parts most of the time, these chapters. But I was going back and picking out, now that you've heard some of these hospice stories, and you can go back through them and understand my relationship with these people, I will go through some of the chapters in my book that are so much more powerful now, even for me, and I will read them in its entirety, like the fear factor, or the frustration factor, or denial. There'll be certain chapters that I will read in its entirety because you are more familiar with me, familiar with my story, familiar with the way I speak, just familiar with my style. And that's going to be a blessing for me to reread my book. Not all of it, just some of the stories, unless unless I do decide to. You know what? The Mistress of Misery is going to give you the whole book again, because I still not gotten the call from that producer or director to make my story into that movie. So I don't know. God will tell me what to do. But I really know that it's a powerful summer for me now to be doing this. It's not like my book was full with stuff to do. Not. But to reach you, to see you, to feel you, to touch your life like I'm doing, oh, it is a blessing. And you are connecting me to more people. Mm-hmm. And you are relating to my stories. This is new for many of you. You've never had anybody on Facebook read their books. You're getting 2 books. All on my website. Free. All on YouTube channel. No subscriptions necessary. What I just want is to meet somebody who's got a really big dental group. A really big dental group with a Broxton or Oral-B or the other people. And they say, there's this widow in Boca who buys battery-operated toothbrushes for HIV-positive dental patients at the Palm Beach County Health Department. What a wonderful thing to do. That would look so good at a time when greed is running amok. We could start and we could help her take this crusade all through the state of Florida and all over. Wouldn't that be lovely? I'm really getting good filling up this half hour. I think I've gotten into a rhythm finally about it. Hi, Robert and Lisa and David, and I appreciate it to reconnect. I don't know why it does that, and I don't care. It comes back. So anyway, I'm going to say shalom, hello. Shalom, goodbye. Shalom, goodbye. Shalom, peace. Shalom, peace. Be kind. Be patient. Call someone and tell them you care. I am going to definitely call someone now and tell them I care. I care about all of you, and I thank you so much. Just share. Please share my website, SusanMintz.com. Share my stories. You don't know whose life you're helping. You don't know whose life you are impacting. I'm going to finish, and I'm going to, what I say is, decompress. And no, they didn't fall off again. Hallelujah. Bye all. See you tomorrow night for chapter, what am I on? 15. Oh, ripped my guts apart on that one. Love you all. Bye-bye. Shalom.